Hello, hello, and good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. I'm doing a test stream today. We're actually going to do some stuff too, but I'm only on one computer while streaming. So let's go ahead. Switch over here. Hello. I guess that could be. There we go. Switch that down, and here we go. So we got all the steps set up in here. Um, Uncle Scientist, hello. Yes, very different setup. I am traveling, so I don't have my desktop computer to do all the streaming on. I only have this one right here. So we're sort of like trying to figure out how things are going. When I first started the stream, I got 115 drop frames, but nothing so far, and nice and green across the board. I'm doing 3100 kilobits per second and 60 frames per second. So, oh, the echoey audio. Yeah, I don't have my real, I don't have like a real microphone today. And what I guess I'm using the microphone that the camera isn't. So I can also use the computer microphone, but I sort of assume that that's worse. And then maybe next time I do this, I should get like some kind of headset microphone to do. That might be better. But that's neither here nor there. But anyways, Uncle Scientist, how are you doing today? I assume you've been working on the leak code stuff still, right? I haven't had very much of a chance while I'm out here playing with all the Twitch and like what's going on. You had a nice long weekend off? Oh, that's really nice. I guess today is a holiday. So today technically would be a day off, and on my vacation from my day job, it means that this is not a vacation day I have to take, which is nice. Chantilly, is it you or no audio? Um, I've been chatting with Uncle Scientist, so I would assume that there's audio of some kind. Or are you talking about music? Because there's no music. I uh, I was thinking about loading up something, but that didn't work. Okay, and SS Stark, hello. Josh Finney, hello. Evening stream. For you. It is still mid morning for me. That's just where I am right now. Okay, and you have audio too. Excellent. 4 p.m. where you are. That's what? 6 hours off. 10 p.m. there. Well, good evening to all of you. Or I guess afternoon and then evening. I am still trying to find one of these courses that have more than one article assigned to them. Oh, this one has two, but they're both preview, but that's okay. Yeah, okay. So this one, cool course 3. I could just go and fix this in the database. Well, hopefully you're all doing great. I've been on vacation, sort of like a little bit of travel too. And so that's always really nice. I'm hanging out here with in a condo my parents rented, sort of visiting them, and I decided to try to stream, well, do the entire traveling stream thing. So I've got my normal computer I do programming with, configured it for streaming as well. I did bring an extra, I brought the cat cam for my main cam. So we'll see how that goes. It looks like it has a slight fisheye, so that's a little bit interesting. The audio sounds like it's going to be a little bit echoey. I'll have to check the VOD to sort of see exactly how that sounds like. And but other than that, the fans haven't started going off pretty crazy. Obviously, I don't have a green screen behind me, so that's a thing. But so far doable. We'll see how we get when we get to like actual code usage. OBS wanted me to stream at 6K. I dropped it down to 3K. But I don't know. Maybe that would work. I'm not a partner with Twitch, which means that if I do stream at 6K, I believe you have to watch at 6K, which does mean that if you have like a mobile or something else, it would take more data, which is not great. Also, I have no idea if you can hear like any background noises or anything else. So if you can, let me know. And I'll close a window that I have open. All right, so I want to, okay, so we have created in Hasura. So right now we can click to this and go. So I want created in Hasura. I want to remove that. So let's find, list all courses. Okay, created in Hasura is article ID of 8. Okay, so this is going to be course articles, article ID of 8. I want this to be, okay, I want to turn you to be preview to false. We don't have any GUI way of doing this. Sandriel, hello. Why did I choose GraphQL over REST? I chose GraphQL over REST mainly because Hasura is really, really good at setting up GraphQL. So basically, I don't have to have very many, if any, of the negatives of GraphQL, but I get all the positives. And the positives of GraphQL without the negatives are better than the positives of REST with the negatives of REST, if that makes any sense. So basically, I can now like customize and just do a lot of queries in the front end without having to worry about back end type stuff. Hasura also has a lot of authentication stuff built into it, so I don't have to set any of that up on my own server. And the fact that it's its own server that I could just run, it gets auto updates and just does all the stuff. That's kind of like I'm all for it. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing that. Yeah, I like it a lot. I don't think I would use GraphQL if I didn't have a service like this to configure it for me. I think that the negatives of that are a little bit too much for GraphQL. At that point, I might as well just use a graph database. But I've heard that there's a lot of negatives about that too. Although there's that new one that might. All right, did I save you? I think I saved you. So, all right, at this point, EdgeDB, was that one? Maybe that was the one I looked at. It was something that was Postgres database, but sort of converted into a graph database, which means that it should be fast, which I think is one of the main things that graph, I keep on wanting to say QL at the end of it. Graph databases tend to be slow if you have too much data in each node, but Postgres is super fast. And since it's basically just using Postgres, I don't know if that's EdgeDB or if it's something else. But that one I think is good. But it's super, super early stages right now. All right, so I just updated you. So this one should now be not, I can go to it right now. And if I hit refresh, I now can't go to it. I can't even click on it. But on top of that, if I were to stop being an admin, and search for this, we could see, okay, I have, for you, create an Hasura, Axum, new. Okay, so are we in Cool Course 3? We're in Cool Course 3. And so we have this course articles, and I have this content because the preview is true. But for this one, what? I thought oh, right. This is what we're fixing. This is what we're trying to fix. is have this content not show up. So that's my goal for today's stream, is to figure out how to make this not actually show up in here. I've got it working on the front end, but the data is still in the database, which means that you can check the network tab and just take the course. EdgeDB is more oriented around objects, but I think they support graph as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wonder if that, we can go take a look at it. EdgeDB. Is that the one that, I wonder if that's the one I've been thinking of. Yes, okay. Powered by the Postgres query engine. Is that the same thing as actually powered by the database? I don't remember anymore. Yeah, this could be really, this is the one that I was thinking of. And it could be really interesting. So I wait a little bit longer before I start playing with the language. So I am eagerly looking forward to being able to use it. Do you have Rust? You do. Okay, you have an HTTP REST client too. Nice. Maybe sometime we'll take a look at it. So many projects to work on. Okay, so right now we're getting this content here. There's a way for me, so I'm not worried about people who purchase content because I haven't set that up in the database yet, so we can't really do anything about that. So this one is just going to be about if you're not logged in or if you haven't purchased it, which is nobody because nobody can purchase anything. You only get the content of the article if its preview is true. So this preview is false. Now, there's a really easy way for me to do this with like sort of just clicking through it. And we have to figure out a way to do this with code. So in LMS course articles, which is this join table that we created, I can, oh, sorry, no, not that one. It would be article content. This is where I want it. So we have, it's specifically this created in Hasura, which I can't see which one it is. I guess we go to articles, created in Hasura. Yeah. And your content ID is 8. Content 8 is this hello hi one, which makes sense. I have this yay, I'm an article, which I can see there, but I can't see this one. Okay, so if I go to permissions, I want for the public, so we're going to want to probably do this for everyone except maybe others. But okay, public. We can do a row select, so which rows you're allowed to see. Right now it's without any checks. I want to start with a custom check. We want to say, okay, so it's going to be a, okay, go up to the, that's that. Okay, so I can do like groupings together. Because I haven't really played with this too much. And let's see, ID, content. Oh, this is the columns in itself. The relationship, so I can step up the relationship to article where it's connected to. Exist operators and or not. So, okay, let's do article. And then course articles, let's do, oh right, course articles. And inside of there, we get this preview. And I want that to, no, not equal, to equal true. So only if your preview true do I want you to work for it. So if I save this, and rerun this, we can see, okay, so the course, cool course 3, here's this article with its content and previous true. And here is, that doesn't work. Preview false. I was really hoping that would work. Am I still? Yeah, it should be public at this point. Did I do it to the wrong thing? Do I need to be an admin to save it? Article content permissions. So lowercase p public. Okay. Okay. About that. So you're off. You're off. This is list all courses, yeah. So list all courses I have available. I was really hoping that I would get that. Or that I would not get that. Okay. I did a test earlier, and which is how I knew to do that specifically, and I got it to be null. So there is a way for me to do that. I just now need to figure it out on this profile here how to do it. I think it was here in article content, so I just did this wrong maybe. So in public, so this is a select, so it's get. Okay, so I'm able to get the columns. Don't think I need any root field customization things. So, okay, go to article. So that's the only thing I do here. Course articles. I don't want to go into content from that. I don't think that makes any sense. And then preview. Make sure that equals true. Are both those true? No, one of them is false, right? Oh, I can't save this. Maybe I refresh, try it again. Okay, so yeah, this is preview false right here. That's in this course articles here. Then I can get article and then content. Yeah, that's not what I want. Okay, so maybe I don't do it there. Okay, let's try removing that. Column select, no, row select permissions, we'll just do without checks. We'll put it back to this. So let's see, maybe LMS articles. We'll do that here. So public row select without any. So that wouldn't let me get anything about the article, right? Which that's not what I I want the title of the article. I feel like it has to be inside that other. Okay. I want to go back and try it in this article. There's no other like content, right? Permissions, public. Let me try this again. So custom check. Article. Course articles. Preview. Equal. True. Don't have any of this on. Yeah, so weird. Let's check it out in the database. So when I grab you as information, let's see if that shows up in the network. Okay, so here's a response. We have our data. So LMS courses. It's pretty nice. Framework. Oh, I don't know which one this is. This is U0.2. That's not that one. Axum 0.7. New. That entire thing. So it's got to be this one, right? Cool, course 3. There we go. Okay, we have course articles. Okay, we have object preview true and object preview false. So take a look at preview true. Okay, then we have article. And then, okay, here's the content for it, and preview is true. So we have the content, which is that. Okay, excellent. We have this other object. So article, preview false. I'm still getting the content. I really figured that would work. It's actually a false here. So okay, well apparently I did that wrong. It feels to me that it's correct to do this as root. In article content, because I want this to not work. Okay, let's try like a full deny, right? So if I say public to somebody who's not logged in, column select, like heck, if I just remove content, save view. Field content now found a type. Okay, so literally can't make the query. So that permission worked. Okay. So that permission worked right there, but I want the content to show sometimes. I just don't want you if the row, and I think it's the row, right? So we have aggregate And a root field, what are you? Oh, allows me to do select vector, create, select aggregate, stream. I don't think I care about any of those. So this is the negative about something like working with Hasura is I have to figure out their method of doing it. And I thought it would be simple. Okay, so like I could do that. The content is similar to that. So I'm inside of article content. So this operators really article the article exists. Course articles. This is where I would think they go to preview for columns. And then set that to be equal to, okay, if I do false, if I do the opposite of what I've expected to do, then can you hear that? It's really loud. Oh yeah. Hold on, let me close the window. I'll be right back. Okay, let's try this out. See how it goes. I didn't need it, right? No. Perfect. Okay, so I just did that. Let's come back to the API. Okay, so I'm not root. I'm not that. Turn off dev mode. Basically, I have everything turned off. I list all the courses. Cool course 3. Ooh, okay. Course articles. Cool article 5. Preview true. Content null. And this one, preview false. Okay, why didn't that work the other way around? Let's try try resetting that. Okay, so we're going to set you to true. You must be true. I wonder if one of these other headers was screwing with me. No, look at that. Okay, preview is false, but I get the content. And when I set it to be true, it didn't work. When I set it to be false, it did work. Is this not like, I set it to be false manually in the database, right? Not in article content. I did that in course articles. Yeah, so you're false here. Oh, did I do this to the wrong course? I may have done it to the wrong course. Let's just, here's this same article that's being used in course ID 5. Hold on. I may not have been paying attention. And this API some course, I think, now doesn't have access to it. So preview true. There's no course articles in those. This is preview 8. And it's showing. Okay, this is LMS courses ID 5, whereas you are ID 9. Five is preview true, 9 is preview false. It should work. Let's, I guess, take this one and mark it as false too. I wonder if my entire idea of multiple courses like that is not going to work. So preview false. Not root. Oh, now it's content null here. And it's content null here. Oh, I don't like that. So if it's content, if it's available in any of the courses as a preview, then it's available to all of the courses as a preview. I don't like that because that's a database query. You think that it's checking that specific one, but it's going up. Because it doesn't know which one it's going up as, because I'm getting them all. I want to like play around with this a little bit, to sort of like understand how it's working. So we turn you back to true again. Preview true. No fields modified. Wait a second. Did I not do anything? Hold on. Course articles. Oh, this one. 5. Mark this as preview true. Okay, so I'm public. Get all the courses. And so I should be getting preview false, but I'm still getting this. So let's do, I want to do another query here. Query list all preview courses. So I want to do LMS courses. I don't know if I could do a where here like that. So let's just do this. LMS courses. Oh, I can't. Okay, so where course articles preview equal, can I do like is true? No. Is equal to true. No, that's not what I want to do because that they're both true. I want to get, okay, let's just get where the course ID is equal to, I think it was 9. It's 9. Okay, so give me the course that has 9. Oh, we could just do this here. Never mind. I don't need to create a new query. Okay, so list all courses where ID is equal to 9. and then I get the course articles, the article, see the preview, and then see the content. So if I do that, oh, look at there. Still happening. Still happening. Ugh. So even if I'm only getting that one, that as long as like some other course is using it, it's not marked it as preview. That's not great. TCP stream, hello. Who are my favorite Rust coders? I mean, the coders that I'm following and seeing on Twitch. So by just people who have showed up here in chat, obviously a lot. So like Uncle Scientist, Hugglebit, Mr. Halsey. See who else have I followed and seen. I have to go and look at everybody because I forget everybody's names. There's like the people who do the podcast for Rust, John Hu. Although like I have trouble getting through his videos because they're so long, and then I sort of like take breaks in between, then it's like hard to remember where I was at in the previous sort of like steps of his. So I have to like watch through like really fast to get it, and it's a little bit harder for me to sort of like follow along with everything. But I have used his videos as references before. Let's see. I don't really watch the Primogen. I like the energy that he has is very different than my energy, so it's like not necessarily fully compatible. And I think that's with a lot of the other sort of like energy streamers is I'm not one of those, and so I don't really watch very many of them. That's, I mean, it's like not a full list, but those are the list of people off the top of my head right this second. There's some Microsoft streamers that do Rust every once in a while. And I've watched those too. There is a Rust team on Twitch. So if you know where the teams pages are, I believe it's Rustation Streamer or something like that. I don't have the link to it off the top of my head. We're actually like Team Rust, Team Crustacean, Team something. You should be able to go and find that. And there's a list of Rust streamers there too. Okay, so this is unfortunate, and it feels like this might be a bug in Hasura, because like, oh, thank you so much, Sandro. I'm glad they're helpful. I'm working on another system before I'm able to create the more sort of like edited is maybe too strong of a word, but like cut down versions of videos. So I have to create this LMS first, and then we're going to create another course in it, and then there'll be more videos that go onto YouTube for it. And then the LMS will be a place to go and consume them. And then I'm also doing going to do sort of like a course. Think very similar to what CJ did with Coding Guard recently with the what's it called, the React Roots course. I want to do something similar to that for you, and then eventually Accent, and then eventually both with a full stack. Okay. Yeah, so that's my plan. Obviously, we're still in early stages for this, but I want to move forward sooner than later because I just want to get there. Okay. For something like this, I think I'm going to make a post, and I'm going to do a note into my to-do. Wanna do this as that one. Let's say send support request to Sura. I guess it's just their Discord about preview false, still showing um, article content. So in my test yesterday, where this worked exactly as I was expecting it to be, it's because I didn't have one article shared to multiple courses with one being preview true and one being preview false. So it's clearly finding the other way around, which is interesting how that's working. And I'm not exactly sure where I would throw that. Because like I want to see the titles of the articles. I just don't want to get the content of them unless preview is true. Now, if preview is false on them across the way, so I'm not too terribly bothered about this. I think this is something we can move forward with because the if I'm making it preview in one course and not the other, it's like it's okay to be visible by the public. It's not like something that like, oh, I really like this is really good. I want you to be able to pay me money for this one. If it's available somewhere else, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make it available. I just wanted the option not to do that. So yeah, we'll see where we want to put it. Okay, but what I want to do is take this permission data and I want to throw this into the files, the actual like metadata files. That way when we apply it, this doesn't just disappear. So they give us what this kind of looks like here. And we need to figure out where to throw that. So that's going to be back in here. We're going to go to database. Okay, so I'm in Hasura. I want to go to metadata, databases, default tables. Let's open up Helix at public. I think it was the article content, right? Okay, I have select permissions for public here. And here's the, I think it goes into this, it's the filter. For column, yeah, there's no filter here. There's aggregate and root. So I want to say it's going to be filter for the rows, and then it's going to be something like this. So I want an object that has article. So would it be something like article, and that's going to have course articles. And that has preview. And I want that to be equal to be true. So only show it if it's true, unless there's a bug. So if I do that, I guess these are thin enough. We can open up another thing to the right. Okay, so I'm in tables. I probably want to go back to Sura. We'll do a Sura metadata apply for this. Okay, I mean, that's exactly what I put in here. What if I, just to see if it's any different, what if instead of this, we changed it to false? So now if I hit refresh, that should become false. Okay, there it goes. So this is actually going to apply that for me. Excellent. So, okay, so you're going to be true there. Now, who else needs to care about this? Um, Public needs to care about this. I mean, potentially the author needs to care about this, but as an author right now, I can see everything. So I don't need I can see them all. I'm fine. A learner, however, shouldn't get that. So I should add you in here. Okay. That's for the select permission. So public and learner aren't able to get everything. Admin is able to get everything all the time. And author is allowed to get all this stuff all the time too. Okay, so let's apply that as well. Okay, so that means I should be able to, I mean, it kind of works for the other ones. Okay, so, all right, a learner now has this as well. Excellent. Come here, that should not have broken you. So refresh, you still see that. That's not showing, but you can kind of see that. Are there any other courses? You don't have any articles associated with you. You don't have any articles associated with you. You have this one. Okay, so you can still see that. Cool Course 3 has that one, and then new. You don't have, okay, fine. You don't have any articles associated with you. And then if I log in, I need to, oh, I don't have like a, do that while I log in. I try to use a second monitor on this, but I didn't have one set up, so I can't have any secret stuff going on the side. I have to do that. Okay, close you, everything's good. Back. Okay, so I'm back now in as an author. Courses, we'll look at the same thing. So see that. Those. You have this one, I can see you. Cool Course 3, see you, can't click on view, excellent. And new, there's nothing there. Okay. All right, so far I think that's okay. It's only really made a change to our database thing, so I think we can go ahead and send this on up. Let's go ahead and view. So git commit am. What is this? This is we are hiding course content unless previewed. So I'll push that up. I don't remember if I have a GitHub Actions. Oh, apparently I do. Okay, so we'll wait for these things. I don't think I made any changes to code. Okay, so here is main. I didn't do anything in YCL. I created a branch here because I thought maybe it would have to make a code change, but I don't think we did anything at all. We didn't change anything. So we're gonna do a I forget exactly how to do this. It's gonna be like a git push dash D or something like that. Git push origin. Okay, so I deleted 12 on GitHub, and then switch to main. Git branch D 12 here. Okay, and then we're back and good to go. For you. You passed all the tests. Okay, excellent. So we just did the branch push. Let's do a GitHub PR create. Okay, we'll do that. Submit. Okay, so that's running. How are we doing internet-wise? We're still green. Looks like I haven't dropped any other frames since then. We've been live for almost an hour. So that's really good. I'm glad about that. I don't have the project available to look at here. So the next things, if we were to look at like what the next thing for me to work on is, we have the preview not showing. You're only getting them when they're preview true. So basically you can like, right now, because that bug, you can grab like, preview items. Things that could be worked on. Right now, there's no way to mark something as preview. I have to do that in a database. If I want to get to the point where I want to sell this, there's also the purchase thing. So I want some kind of way to actually purchase a course, but what I realized chatting with, well, after the React Roots thing came out, I was like, ooh, I think that's the way I want to go for my beachhead. And so like talking a little bit about business priorities and like how that works, one of my mentors was telling me that I should only focus on what they call the beachhead. So beachhead is a business term for the thing that makes the most money. So go for that. And then after that's sort of established, then you can start setting up all the things that make like less money, but are also, good too. So for example, selling the courses for asynchronous, like, going through, that would be passive income for me, but, still helpful for you all. It would be cheaper for you all, but I shouldn't focus on that necessarily. I should really focus on that like live course that I do, because that would be the most money. So that's a really interesting idea, and I kind of like it. So the current plan is we're going to create. I'm going to create a course for you, and it's going to be something that I run, for any of you that are interested in. It's going to be like, I'm thinking closer to like what CJ was charging, because that seemed to work out for him. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out the price for it, and then. We'll run that. It might be 2 weeks. It might be a month long. I don't know yet. We're going to figure all of those details out in when I get the course up and running. And then once I have that up, I could then set up things like, oh, you want to buy that course after the fact and go through it on your own? Then here you go. You can buy that, and that's like, significantly. So let's say what CJ's was $250 per ticket. And then it might be something like, $30 for the course after the fact because you're not getting the live instruction and everything else. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. We'll have to figure it out. And then obviously if you watch live, then you get a significant amount of value without any money whatsoever. So that's sort of like the three different ways. We have there's a free tier that you can get education for free, but it's a lot less, like you have to be at a certain time, and it's not really super convenient for you. And you don't really get everything either. But then you have this small paid for, and that gives you some of the stuff, but again, not the interactive part. And then you have everything. That's the most expensive. So that's what I think that's what we're going to go for. I still have to figure some stuff out. How is this deploy going? Okay, so that was the create PR. Let's GitHub PR merge. All right, this is actually going to do the deploy to production at the very end. All right, so if I want to get to that beachhead, I guess that's what we were talking about. I have the way to create articles, and the course would probably be just one either really big long course, or it might be a series of small courses that when you purchase the thing, the interactive one, you get all of those, and that might be a bundle or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's okay. So you get access to. We have to figure out everything that you need to learn with you, and then we go for that. I have the ability to create the course. So let's say it's the CU course. I have the ability to create articles for it and associate there. I have the ability for you to go and preview it, sort of see, hey, is this for me? And let's see. I have the ability to, I guess, taking throughs, okay, so if you own it, so the next thing would be, do you own the course? And if you do own the course, do you have access to take the articles? Because I think that's the next thing, right? Do you own the course? So looking at our data sort of, I don't have a good graphical way of looking at how everything fits together. We have LMS courses, and then I have these course articles here. I probably need users, just flat out just users that exist, and then I want to know who owns which course, right? Then from that, I can then go through courses and then go into users to see, do you own that? And then we can say, if you do, you get access to this article. So I think that would be the next step. It's creating a users column. And then throwing stuff in there. Now, Auth0, which we're using for authentication right now, it's working on its own just fine, but I'm not syncing anything from Auth0 to the database here. I can definitely do that. So I can throw interesting metadata in there. I can throw something else, specifically what you purchased, which might be really good. And then that would allow me to write some of the middleware in Auth0 to then reach into the database and say, hey, can you please grab this user and throw in what courses, the course IDs that they purchased, and put that into an array or something like that. But then if I already have that in the database, I can just grab that on the front end with the query anyway. So I'm not really sure how useful that is. Lawnmow, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, and deployed. So excellent. So the next thing would be I want to be able to purchase a course. So we could do a database type thing, or we could do a front end change for this. It's going to be both, right? So if we come in here and we log, let me log out. You know what? I need like a non-author login. That would be nice. Doing well, you just showered, idly watching streams while deciding whether you should work on your own project or continue to watch streams. If you're the type that can do both, that's I sometimes do that, but sometimes the talking gets to me, and I can only do one. Translation: procrastinating by watching Twitch. Well, that's a thing too. Maybe we can inspire you to like, you know, work on the project, but that's only if you really want to, right? I found that if I'm procrastinating, it's because there's something else going on in blocking. You pretty much have a project and you know what you need to do. Okay. But do you, oh, it's, let's see, 23, so that's what, 11 o'clock p.m.? That is late. I'm not a late night person. I'm an early morning person myself. So yeah, I totally get where you're at. I don't like to work on projects late at night. So at that point, I would probably like pull up a game and play a game, or just do what you're doing and watch Twitch or something. That's usually what I do. Okay. I want something to purchase, which means I need a special login. So that stuff might not be great to work on stream right now. Funnily, the project is Twitch related. What's the project about? You hate that there's no way to see the full title and do a full text search over the titles when looking at a game on Twitch. Oh, like, you know, the website, right? Because they like have the full title, which they allow me to write in some really large number of characters, but then they like just cut it off with like dot 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 in the actual website. Is that what you're talking about? So basically, better search engine for Twitch. Pretty much want to make a simple table of streams you can full text search. Oh, that's nice. Would this be website or like a CLI? I can see a CLI being nice too. Website, yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really nice, right? Essentially, it's a launcher for streams at that point. Oh, and you're going to use Shuttle RS for deployment. Yeah, I've heard several people talking about Shuttle. I've heard that it's a little bit more vendor lock-in than like something like what was it that all of us were using back in the day, back like just a couple of years ago. For our personal projects, it was, I keep on wanting to say Hasura, but obviously that's wrong. That's not the thing. Oh man, I can't think of the name anymore. Uh, I guess it removed its free tier, and now I can't remember what the name is because I just stopped using it and just it's dead to me now. Okay. Like I remember things about it. It's owned by Salesforce. Um, yeah, I don't remember. They basically have a Rust library which you use to define Heroku. That's what it is. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Heroku was great because there's like hardly any vendor lock-in for deployments of stuff. So like that's great, but then they get expensive really fast, and it's hard to like it's hard to really believe that there's a super, super, super great reason to use them over some of the other things these days. They basically have a Rust library which you use to define things like databases, static files, etc. in code. Interesting. That's nice. The problem is that when you do that stuff in code, it is a little bit of vendor lock-in. Unless it's like a TOML file or something that like is very, very, very consistent across other services. But so far, I don't think any of them are. Yeah, so you can just say to shuttle, give me a database on a shared DBMS as a Rust macro, and just gives you a connection pool. It is, but you can self-host shuttle with some effort. Oh, really? Shuttle allows self-hosting? So like suddenly that makes it a lot more interesting to me. But that also makes me wonder, like, is the payment for shuttle just like hosting on their system, but then it's like open source kind of, sort of, with self-hosted options too? Okay, I could see that as being a really cool thing. I could get behind that. They have no paid tier yet, pretty early stages. Okay. Oh, they have no. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Like if we all use that, then well, back by Y Combinator to like so to me that doesn't mean that much. But I've worked with a lot of different like companies and startups, especially like VC backed, and it doesn't mean that much yet. It's like, okay, it can get out of like the seed stage, but is it really going to like survive the next stages and the next stages? And then it's going to take in some kind of VC money most likely, because most of the Y Combinator companies do that. And then the question is like, what are they going to do to make money? Because if you're VC backed, you need to have a scale plan, and you need to make that big money, and you need to survive for 10 years and get that scale within the 10 years. And if you don't, that's over. It's done. Or you need to sell. Like if you sell within those 10 years, that also counts as like surviving. They pretty seriously promised to have a feature forever, sniping at Heroku in a promise. I mean, yeah, but so have other companies like made promises like that, and then they're gone. Worst case, their code is under Apache 2 if they fold. Okay, so that's good to know. It's like you're not completely screwed if they fold. I mean, 10 years, like if they're in Y Combinator, I would expect them to survive for at least 10 years, unless they can't get that VC funding after the Y Combinator. That's the really only question, is like, or are they going to be able to secure the like stage 1, the series A fundraising? Yeah, for small side projects, that's a really long time. I often go and think about like businesses and companies, but that's because like my day jobs have always been that. I've risen to the point where I now think about those things in that length of time, which is super interesting. I didn't really think I would ever get to that point, but here I am. And since the code is there, even if they fold, surely someone else will offer it at some reasonable pricing. That's the theory, right? Like it would probably just become like an open source project, right? That would be just out there and available. Let's see. Switch C. Okay, so what am I going to name this? Oh, don't worry about that. Most of the stream is distractions. That's why I have like the stream that's distraction filled, and then I have the lessons that I don't look at chat at all, so I don't get distracted. And those are like cut to be like exactly the thing. And so I go back and forth where it's like, okay, work on projects with distractions, community interaction, and then, the actual lessons. So we're not to the lessons right now. I'm perfectly happy to be distracted. It's fun. Everything is great. Okay, so what are we naming this? This is going to be, I want to create the ability to, I want to create a database schema that allows me to have users and then allows me to have users who own courses. That's really what this is. So this is users um, and owning courses. So we set up for that. I guess I could just sort of like push this up right away, but I don't know if I need to right now. Let's see. I want I want to create a new migration for this because we need a new users table. I think, a couple tables for this. So let's do head back to here. So more, okay, Hasura. So we're going to do Hasura, migrate, okay, create. All right, so we need a users table. So I think we're going to do this as two migrations that we run together. So we'll do a users table to begin with, and then we'll do another table that allows us to join users and courses together for which courses they own. So create users. So on default, okay, so we created that migration. Sits under, it doesn't really have anything here, but we'll start this, create users. All right, let's do the up one. I can also change the current directory. Oh. Oh, right, that's how it works. Okay, so I'm gonna migrations, default. Oh, oh. Migrations, default. Wait, doesn't that? Oh, there it is. Create users. Okay, so now if I'm there, I can just do capital F to just see only these two things, which is fine. That's exactly what. So I'm in up right now. So we're going to do a SQL code. So we're going to do create table. Is it if not exists first? So if not exists. So we can do users, but maybe I want to like users is a protected table. I mean, I think it would be okay to use that. So users. I've also heard of people not using users and just saying like auth0 users or something like that. I don't want to like say auth0 users. What if I change my vendor? I don't want to like lock that in as that. That doesn't seem to be great. So that would be something more like LMS users, but like I want this maybe to be beyond just the LMS and like for all of our users. So BB users, I'm just gonna stay with users for right now. We'll see how this works. Okay, so if I do that, then I think it's parentheses, and then I have like what's involved in here. So we're gonna have an ID. The ID is going to be, is it sequence? Ooh, I forget. I forget how to do is the sequence. It might just be sequence. It's Postgres, so that might be it. Let's see. Do I have something in here for this? don't have anything for database. So Postgres, create table. So I'm going to do create, and then I don't, okay, so this is all interesting. Okay, so this is all optional. Table, oh, it's, okay, create table, if not exists, table name, open parentheses, and then another optional, column name, data type, compression if there is any. I don't need that. Collate, don't need collation, don't need, maybe need a column constraint with like primary ID. Table constraint like, yeah, okay. So inherit, table space, create. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, and then constraint includes these things. And then was there, oh, data types are interesting. So we can come back here. Let's do the auto incrementing. Doing something like a UUID would be the best, but I don't know if this database has a UUID function in it. The best way to find out would be actually to try to connect in. So here we have Docker, would be no, Docker compose. I do resize that. Docker compose I want to exec database. Okay, so service database is not running container number 1. Is it like Postgres? Isn't there a compose file? Database. I think, okay, so there's a database right here. So, oh, wait, am I not in the right directory? Docker compose exec database. Oh, I think it's, oh, it's 11:19 here already. It's pretty soon. I'll have to head off to grab lunch. So let's see. I'm gonna check right quickly if I have a UUID for myself, and then we'll probably wind it down. But while we're doing this, tell me how the stream has been, because like this is an unknown internet that I'm using, and I just playing me on my laptop, which the fans haven't gone on at all, which I'm very surprised at. I probably could have even stepped it up to higher bitrate too. So let me know how that is. I want to do PSQL dash U, I think it's Postgres. Okay. What was it? It was like, how do I connect to a database? Can I just do SQL? select star from users don't exist yet to like LMS courses. Okay, there we go. So I have that. So I want to do, I think I can do something like select UUID, something like that. Oh, function UUID does not exist. Okay. So I need to, if I wanted to create a UUID as the ID, I would need to install that as a plugin for the database. I would need to do that here, and then also on the production database that I'm using, which I don't feel like doing right now. So I'm probably just going to use sequence. I think we're going to figure that out later, or I'm going to figure that out off stream. I've been continuing to sort of like work on it here and there while I'm just sort of hanging out here. So anyways, I think that's going to be it. We did one big thing today. I've also tested that we can stream, so it's a good thing for me to know. And then besides that, I don't really have anything else. So I want to have the rest of my day to hang out with family and also go eat some good food. So with that, thank you all for hanging out with me today. I will see you sometime. I don't know when. I don't have any plans to do any more of these streams where I am right now, but if I do, it sounds like it'll just be fine. I don't know when those would occur. Just sort of keep an eye on Discord or just have the events emitting out in case you want to catch them, but no promises. I'll be back to my normal schedule something like after the 10th or so, like some few days after the 9th or 10th. So I'm not exactly sure when yet. So with that, thank you again. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.